Hi there. I'm Kevin O'Connor, and welcome back to Ask This Old House. Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Kevin.
Let me give you a hand with that.
Well, I'm going in here.
Let me get the door. Nice to have a big opening with a sliding door.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today. I got an email from a homeowner, and they want me to put a sliding door in their house.
Barn sliders?
No, sliding glass door.
The reason we wrote to you guys is we get this great room here in the basement, and we can't use it because this door is way too small for us to get any furniture into it. The goal here is to basically start here and just go right down to here, get rid of this window, and just have a nice big sliding door to let a lot of light into the basement and see the complete backyard. Tommy, we have this old beat-up...
we're supposed to do it together.
You just do it.
Tommy, we have an old beat-up door.
And we're hoping you can help us out with this.
Okay, let's put it right here, Jace. Now, this is the door we're going to put in today. It's a sliding glass door.
And it's going in right here.
Right. To get started, we're going to remove the door, the window, and then demo the wall. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take this door off first, the storm door.
Okay.
So I want you to take this screw gun and seat it into that screw really nice.
Okay.
Make sure it's in there firm. Now, back it up. Push pressure on the screw. You're actually pushing on it. That's it. Good. That's done. And now we're going to go to the next one. Remember to push the tip right in there firm. Push on the screwdriver hard. That's right. Pump the trigger. All right, Jason, what I want you to do is remove this window. Now, have you ever used a reciprocating saw before?
No.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to cut into this wall. Do you want to save this window?
Yeah, it's a newer window, so I'd like to save it.
All right, so I'm just going to cut around the window. Let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to start the saw up here. I'm going to dive it right into the wall. All right, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to let the saw do the work. I'm going to push against the saw, keeping it against the building, turn it on, and let it come down the wall. All right, just like that, all right?
Okay.
Give it a try. All right, that's good on that side. Let's try the other one. Now, what we want to do is make a plunge cut. So to make a plunge cut, you have to put the saw down against the building. When you turn the saw on, you're going to push with your left hand and pull out with your right hand, slowly. All right, turn it on. Okay, good. Since we're saving this window, and I don't want to damage this row of shingles right here, I'm actually going to cut the lower part of the wall out first, and then work the window out so it drops. Now what we want to do is try to remove this lower section of the wall by just pulling it out. I'm going to go inside, push it out to you. If it comes out, pull it down. All right? You ready? There we go. There's the lower section. I'm going to get that right out of the way. There it is. All right, you want to jump on the outside there? Take that corner. Ready? Whoop.
Oh, I got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay. Put it right over here. So what do you think?
It looks great. It's really opened up.
Well, wait till the door gets in here. I think it's really going to make a difference. Now, sometimes when you remove a wall like this, it's a structural wall or a bearing wall. That means it's carrying the load up above. So if it's a load-bearing wall, you would have to install a header. This time we got lucky. There's already a beam here, and that's carrying that load. Now all we have to do is clean this up and frame for our new opening. Now what I've got is a big, heavy 12-pound sledgehammer. What we'll do is we'll stand inside here and just whack away at that curb. You want to try it?
Will do.
All right. Woo! There you go. Wind it. Getting ready to go. Just swing it, let the hammer follow right through. Let the hammer do the job. There you go. Swing it, push it. There, see? I want to set our new door on a flat and level surface.
What's that surface going to be made out of?
The surface is going to be made out of cement.
So why the 2x4?
Well, the 2x4 is actually a form that will hold our cement level and straight. All right? But now look, underneath this 2x4 that I have here, there's a big gap. If I just pour the cement in there now, it'll all run underneath the 2x4. So what I need to do is scribe the 2x4 to the floor. I also want to make sure that I bring the top of the 2x4 down the height or the thickness that I want the cement to be, and that has to be level. Now this is the highest point of our floor, and I'm going to use this as a reference to set my cement. Now, with the 2x4 plumb, I can set my square against it, bringing it down till it touches that high point. I then transfer that high point over to the 2x4 with my pencil. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my scribes from the pencil line to the top of the 2x4. I then move it down and follow the unevenness of the floor below. When I cut the 2x4 on that line, it will follow the unevenness of the floor below, and the top of the 2x4 will end up at my reference point. All right, let's see how we did. Place it back on the floor, right on my line. See if it's level. Yep. Now we'll check over to our reference point. And that's good. Now I'll screw my 2x down and fill the void with cement. To fasten the 2x to the concrete, I have to pre-drill a hole with a masonry bit and a hammer drill. Then I can screw the 2x down using a masonry screw. All right, Jason, what we have is a quick setting cement mix, and we want to mix it up kind of stiff. Just work the shovel back and forth into the water with the cement. That's the consistency we're looking at right there. I don't want all of this old concrete to suck all the moisture out of the new cement, so I'm going to moisten it first. All right, now this is the next step I want you to do. Take this caulking, and I want you to run a bead right against the edge of the 2x and on the surface of the floor to fill that joint right there. All right?
Okay.
A nice thick bead right in there. That's right, right in there. So what we're doing here is actually creating a gasket between the new cement and the old concrete. So if any water should migrate under here, it will stop here and not get into the basement.
That looks better.
Yep. What I want is a thin coat of cement worked into all these voids before we fill the whole cavity. Now I'm leveling the cement to the top of the 2x4. Now your new sliding glass door is 6 feet wide. The opening that we have right here in your wall is 8 feet wide. Okay. We need to close this side of the wall in about 2 feet, and that will center the door in this room. What we have is a pretty simple wall here. Piece of pressure treated right here on the concrete. That is a sill plate. These two studs right here, because there's an opening for the door, are called king studs. This is a top plate right here that the stud's nailed to. This piece of pressure treated right here is needed because it's a concrete foundation, and this ties the wall to the foundation. This piece right here is actually an inside corner piece, so when you're ready to finish the wall on the inside, you have nailing. All right, Donna, I need another bead of caulking right here. Nice thick bead up against this foundation and right across the sill plate.
Okay.
Nice and thick. This is to stop any water from migrating up underneath that sill plate. Now we're ready to put the sheeting on the outside wall, and this is actually a plywood. It's 5/8 of an inch thick, and it's an exterior grade. I'm going to put it right up under the shingle here. Now we'll just nail it to the studs. What I've done is I've ripped down a filler right here, and that's a straight line between one side to the other. That gives me a straight edge to keep the door true. Our sliding glass door will fill this opening right here, but to protect the sheathing for now, let's put up some 15-pound felt paper before the door goes in. I'm going to slide it right up underneath those shingles there. Put it tight to the wall. All right, it's up there good. Jason, want to take that hammer tacker and staple it off. All right, we're getting real close to putting our doors in. Next thing we have to do is install the door jamb. Now this is a solid vinyl jamb. This is a nailing flange right here that's going to slip up and behind the shingles. I want to run a nice thick bead of caulking to seal this joint. All right, that's great, Jason. I want you to run a real thick bead right across that edge. And I want to run a second one after you finish that one. We want a nice thick bead, so when that threshold sits in this wet caulking, it will seal it, not allowing any water into the house. If you want it to leak, Jason, just put a thin bead like you're doing. Thicken that up. See? This is thick, this is thin. This is you, this is me. We're going to take this nailing flange and we're going to put it right up and behind the shingle. You ready? And once we get it in behind the shingle, we're going to hold it up tight to the shingle. Now, we're going to slowly put it in right over our caulking. There we go, right tight to the nailing flange. Now we're going to force it back down, right into that wet caulking. All right, now our sill is level because we poured our cement level. Now we want to plumb the sides. To do that, we're going to measure diagonally. 105 and 15/16. Now we'll check it the other way. So we have 105 and 15/16. Now our numbers are equal. That makes our unit square. We know that our cement is level, so our sill is level. Because the unit is square, the sides are plumb. Now we need to secure the jamb to the rough opening. To do that, we're going to shim it and then screw through the jamb into the 2x4s. You have two glass panels. One is the stationary panel and one is the active panel. This one here goes in the back and this one will roll. Let's put it in the track above. Okay, that's it. That's in. Now let's see if it slides. Slides pretty good, but we have to see if the door is square in the opening. So I'm going to close it almost closed, and I'm going to look at the space between the door and the jamb. And I look at the bottom, I've got a space right here about 3/8 of an inch. As I go all the way up to the top, there is no space. But that tells me I've got to bring the top of the door over this way, creating a uniform space. To do that, I have to lift the door up on the bottom, which will pull the door over at the top. Now I check the gap. And that's it right there. Now we have to get the stationary panel. Okay. Want to grab one side? You got it?
Nope.
No? All right.
Slippery.
Okay, good. All right, now we have to slide the top right in. There you go. All right, now we're going to push it right in. Right up and in. There it goes. Ready? There it is. This clip right here will hold the door where it belongs. One. Okay, now I have to do the bottom. By spraying some minimal expanding foam around the rough opening, it'll keep the unit airtight. That's it. The door's all in. What do you think?
That looks great. Really opens up the room.
Tony, give it a try.
Tommy, fantastic. Thanks for coming out.
It's my pleasure. And here's the keys to your new door.
Thanks, Tommy.
All right.
So, Tommy, you said you got lucky that wasn't a load-bearing wall, but luck had nothing to do with it.
No, I knew that originally in that house, that was framed for an 8-foot garage door opening, and there was a beam already up there.
Okay, but if it had been a load-bearing wall, we could still put a window or a door in there, no problem.
Absolutely. You just have to know how to put your beam in. Your beam is going to carry the load of the structure that you remove. You're going to remove this structure and put it to the outside to carry the beam.
Okay.
You have a king stud and a jack stud on each side.
Gotcha. And now let's talk about how we size the beam or a header. How big does this have to be?
All right, the rule of thumb that I've always used is if there's one floor above, all right, I use what's called a 1-to-1 ratio. For every 1 foot of the opening, I do 1 inch in height.
So for a 6-foot wide opening, you have to have a 6-inch high header?
Correct. To make up that header, I would use 2 2x6s. Start with one, another one, and I would sandwich in the middle with a piece of plywood to stiffen up the header even more.
All right.
This would have to be nailed and glued together.
And the nice thing about that 1/2-inch piece of plywood is that it brings the thickness of this header out to 3.5 inches, which is exactly the dimension of a conventional 2x4.
Right. It makes it easier for you to do your trim and your wallboard.
Gotcha. All right, so it's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Well, it's only a rule of thumb. If you're going to open up a structural bearing wall, you want to make sure that you know what you're doing. So either get a local building inspector to come out and help you, or get a structural engineer to size that beam correctly.
All right, good tips, Tommy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, boys. It is gray. Has a handle. A couple of latches here. Looks a little bit like a toolbox.
It does.
Don't forget the little venti thing on the back over here.
Is there anything we can work with?
What is it? Wait, there's more. Inside,
Oh.
electrical plug, a couple of fan kind of things here, and there's 2 probes.
Look
That's
at
it.
this.
What is it?
That's the giveaway right there.
Yeah?
You ever have a dead battery in your car or your truck? You have these boosters, you take them on, you cook them onto your battery.
Sure.
Boom, starts right up.
Yeah.
This is NASA's. They use it for the space shuttle. They can't get it started in the morning, you know, they start, when they fire it up, they start countdown, 12, 11, 10, and all the way down, you know. Going so far, and then they get the
Yeah.
dead battery.
A booster.
Bring out the AA booster.
Double A. Tommy, you're flatline on this one.
Shut it off.
Much more practical use for this one. And how many times have you been on the job site, right? You've got a song in your heart, and you can't make it to karaoke night, huh? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
I have that problem.
Every Thursday,
Yeah,
you miss it.
I do.
Well, there's actually a number you can call for a 24-hour emergency response karaoke machine.
They show up.
They come right to the job site, so you can actually just look. And for duets, 2 of them.
Oh, boy.
Oh, Danny boy, the pipes, the pipes.
So these are the only 2 fans you guys have.
Come on.
Let me see that for a second, Kevin. So when I was a kid, I used to have a side business. I supplied night crawlers for all the fishing.
Worms.
Great business. The only problem with night crawlers is they only come out at night. So
Good name for 'em. That's
my
great,
father made me a rig where I'd plug a plug in and he'd give me 2 probes, and when I stuck it down the ground and turned it on, all the night crawlers would come rushing out of the ground.
Like an electrical plug. Line
Yeah,
voltage?
that explains a lot. Yeah.
You got a problem? This is the modern version, much safer. You just
I
take
see
these
that.
probes, set them down on the ground, and all those night crawlers will come bubbling to the surface. You go camping, it's portable.
Roger, why don't you just get rid of the worms in the equation and just stick this right in the water? You'll get your fish coming up to the
Zap 'em.
top.
Cutting me right out of the deal,
They'll be
aren't you?
cooked, too.
All right, one more clue. These change temperature.
I see. Oh, I know. I can warm up my coffee in the
Gonna
morning.
guess again?
Close. It goes the other way. These actually freeze pipes.
What?
Freeze pipes.
Wait, listen. Your entire career, you were unfreezing pipes. Did you tell me that the plumbers invented something to freeze them?
Absolutely.
Why would you?
Sometimes you need to shut off a valve and it may not hold. You have to work inside the building. This is the water main. So you actually have to freeze upstream. In the old days, we used to put dry ice right here and hope that it lasted long enough to make the repair. But this is actually a mini freezer kit in a box.
So you make like an ice stand.
Absolutely. So you pick the appropriate size adapter right here. Let me just go this way. There's that one. And there is this one. Put a clamp right there. And let's plug it in and try it out. All right.
Look at that. 15, 20 minutes, and that pipe is frozen solid.
Pretty cool tool, isn't it?
And it's a cold tool.
Guys, did you know there is one plumbing fixture that uses about 1/3 of the water in any house? Any guesses?
Garden hose.
No.
Dishwasher.
Nope.
It's gotta be the shower.
No. I thought you might have guessed toilet. It was right here in front of you guys. We are working on a story for an upcoming episode where we can retrofit a unit like this into any toilet tank. It's a dual flush unit. One button for liquids, one for solids. And that saves a lot of water.
Sounds like a pretty good story. All right. Well, if you've got questions, we want to hear from you, so keep your letters and your emails coming. Until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor.
I'm Richard Dewey.
I'm Roger Cook.
And I'm Tom Silver.
for Ask This Old House.
Bye-bye.
If you have a question about your house or a tip you'd like to share, please let us know. Visit our website, pbs.org, for expert advice, step-by-step videos, and much more. Next time on Ask Us Old House.
I'm about to throw the TV out the window. Standard procedure. We've been here for 2 minutes, and half the time I have no picture. There we go.
Kevin makes a house call and gets a great reception.
It's a gigantic antenna. How did we end up with this?
It is a pretty big antenna.
We are PBS.
This Old House magazine, the companion to the television series, provides advice from our experts that you've come to know. You can use your credit card to order 10 monthly issues for $10 by calling 1-800-221-5900.